What's up, Internet? It's your boy, the notorious B.I.V. And I found another show that I like. First off, actually, Did you know that frig, the word frig, as in like friggin, it's usually used as a substitute for the F word, right? Like friggin. It actually means the same thing. Yeah, that's right. My wife was playing this word game, and that was our amazing discovery today. Yeah, look up the word frig, F-R-I-G, and yeah, it's the same thing. Frigging is effing. Anyway, so yeah, so when this show Pennyworth popped up in my feed, on HBO Max, and there are two seasons on HBO Max. I don't know if there are more on wherever it's playing. I think it's playing on Epix, I think is what, I don't even know what that is. I guess it's a cable channel of some sort. At any rate, um, that's better. Uh, so this popped up in my feed, and I'm just like, and I take a look at it, right? I'm like, so, you know, I'm like, Pennyworth, what? I like look up the description. It's like Batman's butler's origin story or whatever, and I'm just like, what? Like, that sounds stupid as hell. I don't need to see that. I don't care. And I mean, and I don't like prequels anyway. Like Star Wars is a perfect example, right? Like when I saw Star Wars, Darth Vader's just this huge badass, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like he's so scary and cool. And same thing with Boba Fett too, right? I'm not watching the Book of Boba Fett, by the way. Yeah, I'm all done with Star Wars, but I didn't need to know Darth Vader's origin story, right? Like he was this cool, like badass, like villain guy, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this guy's awesome and scary and cool. And once I saw the prequels, like it actually just kind of like, I'm like, oh, so Darth Vader's just this whiny little kid that like pod raced and got angry at everybody and threw a temper tantrum and killed all the Jedi. Okay, well, that's great, I guess, right? Like I didn't need to know that, and it didn't help anything, right? And so I see this Pennyworth thing, and I'm just like, nah, no thanks, pass, right? That's dumb. And then it pops up another couple times in my feed, and I'm bored. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll just check out the first episode, okay? And so I do, and it's pretty good. It's pretty dang good. So if you watch it, so it's by this guy Bruno Heller. I guess he's like the producer, and he writes some of it, I think. And he did Gotham. And I watched like a season of Gotham, and I was just like, yeah, this just isn't my thing. Like it was a little too over the top, a little too much crazy violence and like weird sexual stuff, and just like it just wasn't my thing. But I would describe this as Gotham light. Like it's like there are certainly some elements, and I didn't hate like all. There were elements of Gotham that I thought were pretty cool, and you can see some of those elements in this show, but it's definitely it's like Gotham toned down though. Like it's much more grounded and much more like just more real, I guess. And there's still a little bit of violence and stuff in it, which but not not I don't know. I like this way more than I liked Gotham. And Gotham too was like it just got bogged down after a while. It just like like you basically had, they just kept pulling in all these like Batman villains and stuff and like throwing them in here, and it's like pretty soon you just had like little kid Bruce Wayne like fighting the Joker and stuff, but he's not Batman, and it's like, what are you doing? Where's this going? And it was dumb. But this doesn't suffer from that. Like this doesn't have any baggage. I mean, honestly, you don't even have to be like a fan of Batman or anything to appreciate this show. This could just as easily be a show about a guy who happens to be named Alfred, and he has these adventures in England. Like it does. It really has. And there are no like Batman Easter eggs and stuff like that in this. At least in the first season that I've seen. Um, so there is. So he does associate with Thomas Wayne, and Martha Kane, who are Batman's parents. So that's like the only Batman-y thing in this. And really, again, it could just be like a show about a guy named Alfred and a girl named Martha and another guy named Thomas that he occasionally like hangs out with or whatever. And so it's very accessible. Like you don't have to know any of the Batman stuff or anything like that. And it's funny too. Like they do this with shows now. It's like every show has to have like be connected to some franchise or something. You know what I mean? Like a couple that come to mind are like they redid Hawaii Five-O a little while ago, and they've redone Magnum PI, and they have nothing to do with like the original series at all. They just have the name, right? And they're just like a show about, like Hawaii Five-O may as well just be like a cop show set in Hawaii, right? Like it doesn't need to be called Hawaii Five-O because it has nothing to do with Hawaii Five-O. But I guess they just figure like, oh, no one's gonna like pay attention to any show unless it's like a recognizable name or something. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's how we consumers are these days. I don't know. It's kind of sad though, because again, this could just be a show about a guy who has some adventures and whatever, and it doesn't need to be Batman's butler, but whatever. So it's a great show, and like one of the best things about this show, I think the best thing about this show is the intro music. Honestly, like you know how you watch streaming shows and it's like you skip like you maybe watch the intro once, right, and then you just skip it after that. You're like skip every time. I actually watch the intro to this show every time now because it's like so friggin' epic. Like it just pumps me up. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And unfortunately, like the episodes can't quite measure up to that, like the awesome intro, but they're close. But they're still good. They're still good episodes. And yeah, I watched the first season. It's 10 episodes, and it's just like a really cool adventure story / mystery. A lot of like cloak and dagger type stuff, and it's fun. So there are a couple of episodes of I have a couple of episodes of I can't a Peacemaker. I have a couple more episodes. There are a couple more episodes to go of Peacemaker, so I'm thinking I'm probably gonna finish that and maybe watch the second season here of Alfred of Pennyworth, and then I think I'm gonna cancel my subscription to HBO Max. I just one thing that really pisses me off. I think I've mentioned this before, but like I hate this stupid how they don't drop like all the episodes at once anymore. Remember when they used to do that and you could just binge the whole thing? Now they're like, oh, here are the first 3 episodes, maybe sometimes they'll give you, and then it's like, now we're gonna feed you 1 episode a week for the next 8 weeks or whatever, and I'm just like, that's BS, man. I hate that. And I get it, like from the streaming service perspective, like they don't want people to just binge something and then quit, right? This way, they keep you on the service for however many weeks that show is running, and then you discover other shows, kind of like I discovered Pennyworth while I was watching Peacemaker. So I get why they do that, but I just think it's just dumb. It's just slimy, and it doesn't do anything for us, the consumer, at all. So I don't know. I'm cutting off HBO Max probably for the next little while, and we'll see where I go from there. But anyway, yeah, check out Pennyworth. I think it's pretty cool. It's a very well done show. The actor that plays Alfred is great. I think he's amazing. He does a really good job. And check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I almost forgot my favorite part of the show. The very last frame of season 1. The very last frame is just I was just oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I wasn't all in until the very last scene in season 1. I was just oh my gosh, that was freaking awesome. So so check it out. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.